It's 12:51 on Tuesday, April the 1st, 2025, and I am here at the Goodman Mansion, and this place has got a little tour going on, and it's free, and they have quilts in here that go all the way back to the 1830s or 40s, up into the 1940s, I think it is, or around that time frame. And out here, just give you a little glimpse, they got all these azaleas and everything right around us. So some pretty grounds, and you can come into this all for free. They do suggest a $3 donation, and we're definitely going to give that. So get ready, we're going to go inside and check it out. This is the living room inside the house. Look at that light. How giant these rooms are. This actually started out as a 4-room cabin, dog trot style. You see this collection of 1850s fabric quilt. Over there's a Victorian comfort quilt, that's called. This is a Lemoyne Star circa 1850s. Then we'll see those other ones from over there, but this is this room. This is the same room we were just looking at. Here's an embroidered memory quilt from 1893-94. That's an applique Reese, 1880. English paper, pieced honeycomb, 1850s right there. And so I guess that's all of them. But anyway, look at this gigantic piano. My goodness. And again, this light from this side. Fireplace over there. Here's some kind of a picture. Then the azaleas outside the windows there. Very nice. Here's the main hallways. This is the main front doors right here. Here's a place where, of course, you could check yourself as you came in or out. Got this collections here. It's like glasses and bulbs, things like that. Now in this room, this is the main parlor, and she said this painting on the ceiling was done in the 1880s, and it is original. So look how well that's held up. Very amazing. Let's see, this will tell you about this room here, the north parlor. Check out this old phonograph player. Nice little dish sitting there. More azaleas outside the window. Let's see, here's quilts. This one's a reverse applique 4-block circa 1875. Lone Star circa 1890. Crazy Quilt Blocks, C 1890. No Pain, No Gain, 1920. Feathered Star, 1870s is that one. Back there is a fan, Crazy Quilt, 1890s. And Feathered Star, 1870s. And here's a closed off door. And got a cool tree out there. And again, got a really nice light in here. And then you can see that ceiling from this angle again. And then the fireplace too. Very, very nice. And look at that old radio right there. We had stuff like that when I was a kid. And this is the dining room. And wow, what a nice table, a nice setting. Okay, it too has its own fireplace right there. Big buffet. And check out this face up here at the top. Dining room, that tells you about that, if you can read it and pause it. Here's some of the dishes here. They got fish on the plates. And the chairs here, they're pretty nice. Here's a quilt back there. Victorian sampler embroidery on wool, 1905. Very nice. Now these plates here. Little tiny cups. This is a Victorian table scarf, chenille embroidery of 1890. That is a floral machine embroidery, 1920. And back there in the very back of that chair is a stump work, circa 1890s. Here's a mirror with lights. And over here, see this dish set here? We got a lot of dishes there. Here's the outside. Look at this glass. You can see some of the waviness. Look at that. Very cool. You can see how windy it is outside. This is the butler's pantry, as it's called. Here's a little porch right out here with a bunch of azaleas. Then you got this piece here. Very, very nice. And then the kitchen. Check out that old sink. My sister just literally got rid of a sink that looked a whole lot like that, except for these weren't. They were regular, but all of this, the way this is made, one piece, all look like that. Look at that center glass right there. Beautiful tree out there in the yard. But check it out. Here's a patchwork apron, circa 1930. This is a family heirloom tablecloth napkins, circa 1940. Say It in Stitches, circa 1930. And then you see this refrigerator right here? Look at this. Here, show it to you that way. This refrigerator still works. This was bought in the 1950s, I believe she said. And it still works. She said she has to defrost this thing, so she knows it works. There's no bread box. Then another door outside. More simple lighting in here for sure. And then look at the wallpaper on the walls here. Then a cupboard there. All right, let's go see what else we can find. This here is the back door. Look at that transom. Very nice. Big, gigantic doors. Library. And then this room here. This used to be the master bedroom, actually. Nice fireplace there. See this painting of the house up here? Now again, imagine, this house started as a 4-room cabin, which is crazy to think of. Let's see, here's a painting of it, looks like, or maybe it's a picture. A lot of glare there. You see it best that way, actually. And some of the family. Married Priscilla Guest and Goodman. She married him. She was the last one inherited. Collection of medical stuff. Matches dangerous item in past. Okay. This is a staircase. We're going to go up that. You see it right here. Very nicely done. And Sally, the last one that lived in this, she said the stairs used to be really, really steep, and Sally's the one that got that corrected. Okay, there's a lot of steps. So there you see a big balcony up here. More azaleas down there, you see. Here's a bedroom. I see that says guest room. I know this was sometimes used as a baby room as well. Anyway, we got a log cabin with handmade lace. 1880s is that blanket. That quilt there. Cats and dog sheet. 1930. Log cabin wool chalice with bar border. 1860s. That's a Civil War blanket there. Caesar's crown, circa 1830. Okay, so that little piece right there. And then there's one back there, and boy, What does that say? I don't know, velvet grid or something? Wool? 1910 maybe? I'm not sure. I'll have to zoom in on that and hopefully see. See the wallpaper? It's light and bright in here actually. Got that dress hanging right there. Little pictures. Little table. Looks like ashtrays. Mirror. Let's see. Annie Ima Gaston. Looks like a queen in that. Then got this big old trunk here. That was Sally's travel trunk. Okay, cool. Alright, and here we got books. So they have little libraries. A doll in a little tube thing. Ladies live in the Goodman household. 99-year-old never misses chance to vote. Okay. Tyler woman celebrates 100. Here's some brooches and things like that, looks like. Little tea set for a doll. China tea set, it says. And then here is James and Sally's bedroom. Okay, so this was the master bedroom, and funny story, her parents were in that bedroom, that was what used to be a bedroom, the master downstairs when they died. She and her husband moved down there when he died. She moved it all back up here. And look at this tester bed. And as we were asked, you see how big this furniture is and how in the world they get it all moved downstairs and then back up here. And she was actually crippled the last couple of years of her life, had a hip replacement, and then she died at 68 years old. That was her wheelchair. Right there, so she lived the remaining part of her life up here mainly until the few times she was carried downstairs apparently. But that one says Lemoyne Star, 1840s and 50s. This one here on this into this bed, Victorian embroidered sampler of 1890s. And that one back on that rocker. I don't know. I can't read that. I'm not sure what that says. Then the one on the bed is 1880s. Wreath of grapes, and then this one's laurel leaves and berries, 1860s. That's Civil War. Look at this stuff laid out with this mirror right here in this little drawers. But that bed is truly magnificent. See the old light in here. Okay, now look here. So here's some shoes down there. Little pouches and things, looks like. A great big hat. Let's see. Edwardian velvet ostrich feather, circa 1900 to 1910s. Victoria glass beaded evening bag, circa 1900 to 10. And then a fan, of course. And then look out here. Got a little balcony looking straight out the front. It's not big, but it'd be like a Juliet balcony, I guess you can go out on. Then look at the columns that were up here at the top of these things. And then here's some letters and things. Looks like maybe a diary or something. I don't know. Different little cards and things like that. I guess this here tells you what one of those says. Music and things like that. And here is a whole bunch of more books. And this old chair here. And then dolls lined up here. Alright, this room with Etta Goodman's bedroom. Okay, so here we got a great big chest here, mirror, a very old dress right there, and the blanket on the bed, the quilt, says Marie Webster Indiana French Baskets, 1933. That one down there is Grandmother's Flower Garden, 1930s. Ohio Rose, also 1930s. That one right there is Grandmother's Flower Garden, 1930s. And then that greenish and white looking one back there says flower basket, 1930s as well. And then look at this stuff on this table here. Oh, and I missed that embroidered skirt, 1940s. Looks like it's got a butterfly stuff on it. Closet there with some clothes in it. Here's a picture. And you see this one had its own door. You can go out there, have your own little place to sit outside. Big tall ceilings again. And then the bed pot there. Chamber pot, I guess as they really called them. Then the stuff in here.
How sweet.
See that painting up there. And that's Sally Goodman LeGrand right there. And there's a nice chair. And here's the chairs. I mean the stairs. And here, just give you a look at the rail. You can see that up close. It's got wear and tear on it. And then there's the stairs. Goes on down. So I think that's about all of the house. So hope you enjoyed this little tour. Okay, so I just came out the front door of the house. We went into the back. Is what I recorded when this video first started. You can see all these. You see these beautiful columns here. And that's the look out to the street. So you can see that you can walk all the way out there. But looky here. See, you got these Juliet balconies up here. I showed you that one from upstairs. A couple other little Juliet deals, and then the green shutters. And look at those doors and that transom. And there's the same thing that's on the back there. It's just absolutely awesome. And here, in fact, don't want to do you a disservice. Look here. Go ahead and read this. This will give you a little bit of history about it, I guess. And it is just a beautiful place. And it's definitely worth keeping, that's for sure. All right, then here, let's just look up. You see the ceiling up there? Right past that balcony. Very cool place. Let's go look at the grounds. Okay, so I've walked just out off the front of the house, you can see. And that's what she looks like from out here. Not even halfway down the sidewalk, actually. But as I back up a little bit to show you some more, you can see hopefully now some of the roof up there. And they're about to get their gutters replaced, she says. So that's been a job they've been trying to get done since last September. So, and then they're trying to raise over $4 million to do some more restoration of this place. But man, it is so nice. But here, let's go look around the grounds and see what we can see.